Hello, today I want to talk about Viffing, or vectoring in forward flight, and how it's used in aerial combat. You see, in 1982, the Falkland Islands were invaded by a task force of Argentinian soldiers. Because the Falkland Islands are a bunch of islands, two main islands, East and West Falklands, with the capital Port Stanley on the eastern island. They're a bunch of islands off the coast of Argentina, and Britain colonized them back in the day. I think it was the early 1800s. They kind of claimed them from their new empire, and Argentina invaded them in 1982, claiming that they're Argentinian sovereign territory. The small garrison of 75 Royal Marines were quickly overrun after they had an epic last stand at the governor's house. Well, it wasn't that epic, but anyway. And the Brits hurriedly performed, or got ready, a invasion task force to relieve the garrison. With Margaret Thatcher at the reins, the task force steamed south, and along with the task force was HMS Hermes, an aircraft carrier equipped with the new 21 Sea Harrier Jump Jets. And for this example, this is a Sea Harrier Jump Jet. I know. Well, it's really just a Fokker DV2, which is a World War One biplane, probably the best biplane in World War One. It is German. But you have to use your imagination, because this for today is a Sea Harrier Jump Jet, yes. So with them were 21 Sea Harrier Jump Jets. The Argentinians, on the other hand, had 180, and this one's really going to shock you, 180 Mirage 3 fighter aircraft. Yeah, there you go. Not exactly the best painted, as you can see, but this is actually a Ju-88, Junkers 88, German bomber from World War II. You can see there's a little bit of string fishing wire I used to hang it up. It normally hangs up on my roof there. You might have seen it in other videos. But this, for today's video, is going to be the Mirage 3 fighter attack aircraft. And this is going to be the Sea Harrier Jump Jet. Now, why is it called a jump jet? Well, the Sea Harrier Jump Jet had four thruster, what am I going to call them? They were four thruster exhaust pipes, I suppose you could say. Now, were positioned along the fuselage of the aircraft. And by manipulating the direction of these thrusters, the Sea Harrier Jump Jet, let's say this is the ground, could literally jump off the ground and fly. That's how advanced it was. The thrusters normally face backwards, but they could just be faced downwards. Full thrust downwards, of course, would propel the plane upwards, which was the Sea Harrier Jump Jet. Very useful for taking off from aircraft carriers or random Brazilian jungles. So yeah, you've got the Sea Harrier Jump Jet. That's what made it so special, by using the thrust vectoring, which is vectoring the thrust from the exhaust thrusters, which was fueled off the main Sea Harrier, Pegasus engine. That's the one. And so yeah, there you go. So that's called thrust vectoring, just manipulating the direction of the thrust of the exhausters. And in fact, I will show you a picture of the Sea Harrier Jump Jet now. There we go. And then, so yeah, that's what the Sea Harrier Jump Jet had going for it. The Mirage 3, on the other hand, which was actually a French aircraft. Can you imagine that? The French supplying the Argentinians against the British in a war. Pretty funny, isn't it? But the Mirage 3 could fly at double the speed of the Sea Harrier Jump Jet, and it had 50% more height. And there was also 180 of them compared to the 21 Sea Harrier Jump Jets. And in the war, not a single Sea Harrier Jump Jet was shot down. That's quite impressive if you ask me. But quite a few Mirage 3s were shot down. So yes, vectoring in forward flight. This. So vectoring in forward flight, actually I'll show you a picture of a Mirage 3 now. But vectoring in forward flight is simply, instead of just vectoring off the ground, it's just vectoring in flight. So let's say you've got a dogfight here, Mirage 3, Sea Harrier Jump Jet. I really wish I had some models of the Sea Harrier Jump Jet and the Mirage 3, but sadly one does not. And it's going like this, and it's quite obvious that the Mirage 3 is on the tail of the Sea Harrier and is about to blow him to kingdom come. Suddenly, the Sea Harrier Jump Jet puts its thrusters downwards, all four of them, goes full thrust, I suppose you could say, and goes like this, and it's coming along, and goes up, and that goes underneath, and now you're on the tail of your enemy. And the hunter is the hunted. The predator is the prey. And that, if you ask me, I would say is the most epic and genius dogfighting maneuver of all time, I would say. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Of course, the engines weren't, the thrusters weren't actually meant to do that. So you could only do it about twice or once before the thrusters would just explode under the force applied onto them from the energy. So that's what would do. Well, that's what the Sea Harriers would do. If there was a Mirage on their tail, they'd just go and put their thrusters up like that, and that would just go underneath, and there you go. You're on the enemy's tail, continue the fight, and shoot them down with your rockets. It was really quite genius. But there are, of course, some negatives from Viffing, or vectoring in forward flight, which is, of course, if the Mirage 3 had a wingman, which, because there's 180 of them, they normally did, you would go like that, you'd go up, and suddenly you would have lost all of your speed. Well, not all of your speed, but a massive amount of it. All of that energy's just gone, and while this is waiting here to get that energy back so it could take off after the Mirage, if you've got another Mirage behind there, and you're just kind of like almost just staying in the same spot, hovering, because that's what Harrier Jump Jets could do. They could hover because of their thrusters. Then you just go here and shoot out a sitting duck, pretty much. So it was good in one-on-one, but if there was a wingman around, or if it looked not very good, then the Viffing could be quite dangerous. Yeah. So yeah, there was a massive decrease in speed. The engines weren't really meant for it, but hey, it was genius.